Greetings and salutations, my friends, and welcome to a new video. Now, by the time of month, you already know what time it is. It is time to renew our monthly TBR, figure out which books I'm going to be reading in October. And if you have been watching the channel, then you know that September did not go according to plan because I could not get a single win in September, not only from the reading, but also from the unintentional time off to intentional breaks to then not being able to film because I was flaring up and sick. It was just a mess and a half in September. So I'm suing September for damages and we are redoing it in October because we need to get a win in my birthday month. Welcome to the best month of the year, my birthday. You're welcome. You are absolutely welcome. Am I giving Scorpio energy today? I hope I am. So with that said, you already know my TBR prompt jar is going to be choosing all of my October reads. I am very excited about this. I do have certain fixed titles that I need to put into my TBR, other things that I am looking to put into the TBR, so I am hoping that it cooperates with me just like every month. You guys already know it's the TBR jar of luck, death, and everything in between, so you never really know what you're getting. I also am starting to feel the urge to very soon renew the prompts, maybe take everything out of here, put new ones in. I'm even starting to plot out ways to make the TBR jar even more interesting and maybe not necessarily higher stakes, but definitely just a little bit different. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll get it all sorted out and you guys will be able to see a new dynamic incoming for 2025, especially because I've been doing the TBR jar for a year now and we are going to push over the year mark. I feel like it needs a little bit of renewal, right? Because it's been so long, but I am very excited to see what this has in store for us for October. So buckle up, join me on the ride. If you want to use these prompts for yourself, if you need any ideas for your October reads, feel free to do so. If you already have a TBR for October, let a girl know in the comments and let's get to choosing. Let's see what the TBR prompt jar will choose for October. But before we get started with today's video, I do have to give a massive shout out to Book of the Month for partnering with me today. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, then you know this is the one subscription service that I have been using for years and I will not be giving them up anytime soon or for anything in the world because I'm absolutely obsessed with them. I have got my own dedicated Book of the Month shelves in my at-home library. I love how the spines line up and I have found some of my absolute most favorite books through Book of the Month, so it's always a win. First book I got this month from them is actually The Dagger and the Flame. I am super excited to get this read. It is a fantasy romance with thieves, a dangerous romance, revenge. It just sounds like exactly the type of book that I would love. And this is what I love about Book of the Month. This is a new release title, and as somebody who is chronically unaware of what is coming out, which author is coming out with what, at which points the book is coming out, Book of the Month really does the legwork for you because their team is vetting through hundreds of books every single month, and they're bringing forward the best new fiction through a short list every single month so that you can choose what you get in your blue box delivered right to your doorstep. What's so cool is that from this short list, you have got a variety of different genres and age groups, as well as authors that you may be incredibly familiar with, as well as authors that may be new to you, but that will still be a fantastic time. And my second book this month was actually The Wild Huntress. Now, I love seeing different iterations of The Wild Hunt, and this specific book is centered all around Welsh mythology, so I'm very excited to get this read. You guys know anything to do with mythology, I am a sucker for, so this is right up my alley. And both of these additions into my Book of the Month shelf are honestly a win. I am very excited about these. And just for October, they've got a super special promo. And if you use the code PUMPKIN, you'll be able to get your very first book for $5. New hardcover fiction for $5. You literally will not find that anywhere else, so don't say I didn't tell you. I will be leaving a link at the top of the description so you guys can go check them out because this, friends, is where the goodness is at. As always, need to give you a little rundown of what was actually read from my TBR this past month. I read all of these books, so honestly not that bad considering how bad September went for me. There are also two other graphic novels that I read that I don't own physically that I also read in September, and that is the Tea Dragon Festival and the Tea Dragon Tapestry. Once more, you'll see all of these books in a wrap-up when it does roll around. However, as part of my September TBR, I did read The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mehrer was finally read in September. I've been wanting to read this book for so long, and it was finally done. I also read Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. Surprisingly, maybe for some of you, you'll see it in a proper vlog soon. I DNF'd A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. And then I also read A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers. And then two things that I had in my mental TBR that wasn't actually in my TBR, but I still ended up reading. The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and then also A Sign of Affection Volume 4. All in all, up and down month. It was a little bit messy, not gonna lie, with like DNFs and the swords, but we'll get into that when it is wrap up time later on in the month. And with that said, of course we have got leftovers and rollovers into October. First, we have got Off to the Races, which I technically, hopefully, will be finishing it today. So I do want to say I don't want to count this just because it is a very quick and easy read. And so by the time that October starts, that book should not be in my TBR. So technically not going to count that as a rollover, but I will count these 5 books right here. We have got A Faked Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, Skyward Flight, but technically only the first 2, Sunreach and Redawn by Brandon Sanderson, also rolling this over into my October TBR. And then The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim, and also This Woven Kingdom by tahereh Mafi. Technically still in the middle of it, but I just know I'm not going to finish it before October starts. So my starting point for October is 4 books, which means that I get to choose 6 different books for my October TBR. Honestly, really good, not overwhelming, and hopefully that'll give me enough play space to actually put in here the things that I am looking forward to reading this upcoming month. So let's get into the actual choosing, and let's let the TBR jar run its course. It is time, friends. Let us get started with our prompt choosing. Let us just mix this thing around. I don't know that I'm doing much mixing. Truly and thoroughly, I need to switch up this TBR jar. I need to not only get a new jar that's bigger than this, I feel like I need to get another one like the Read It or Unhaul It jar because that one's more comfortable. This is just... it's just sitting there. So let's see what our first prompt is going to be, friends. Let us go for this one right here. And this says, ooh, a YA book. Ooh, wait, am I actually, ooh, I think I do. Wait, is that YA? I'm not sure. Let me double check something right here because I do think it may fit this exact same prompt. I'm not sure if this book is YA. So we go on Goodreads and we check. Okay, this works out perfectly because allegedly this is marketed towards young adult audiences. My understanding is that it's a little bit of a cuspy, but I could be wrong about that, but it's technically marked as YA. That is The Crimson Moth / Heartless Hunter. It'll have a different title depending on the territory. However, the copy I got was the UK edition because that cover is much superior and I really fell in love with it. So that's the copy that's on its way to me right now. And that is also my Patreon book club pick for October. So this is perfect. This book to me is honestly extra exciting because it is a witch / witch hunter romantasy. And while I haven't found a book in this dynamic that is like an absolute favorite, the dynamic itself I love. Anything that is a werewolf / werewolf hunter, vampire hunter, witch hunter, I personally really love it. The tension and angst in that dynamic tends to be one of my favorites, so I'm hoping that this delivers. To my understanding, The Crimson Moth establishes a timeline in which at first witches were incredibly powerful rulers to being consistently hunted for their magic, and our main character Rune now, after said events, has to hide the fact that she is a witch by day by pretending to be a vapid little socialite. However, at night, she's a vigilante called the Crimson Moth who looks for protecting and saving fellow witches from being struck down by witch hunters. However, when a mission goes wrong, she decides that her best bet at throwing the hunters off her scent is to actually court one of them with her socialite facade, a hunter called Gideon Sharp, and the story goes from there. I don't know anything else beyond the basics. However, I am really excited to read this. I'm really excited to read this with my patrons, and if you want to join us in reading this, the link for Patreon is always linked down below. But first book going into the TBR, The Crimson Moth. I just don't have it physically yet, but I will soon once my UK copy gets here. We are off to a great start. My mandatory thing that I need to put into my TBR is already in, and now we get to choose 5 other books that are not book club related, and I can do this to my heart's content. So for our second prompt, let us go for this right here, and this says, ooh, a TBR veteran. I feel like this works out quite nicely. I feel like at this point, the majority of the things that I have in my TBR have been in my TBR for over 6 months to a year to 2 years, 3 years, even 4 years, depending on who you're asking and which book you're looking at. So I feel like this is no hard thing to accomplish. I have owned this book for a while now, and I think it may be time to put it into my TBR. It's also October, so why not? Even though I don't associate spooky season with October just because Halloween culture is not that big here in Panama. Like, there are people who celebrate it, there are people who don't. I find that it's mostly families parties with kids. And while there are Halloween parties, it's never really a huge thing. Like, you're not gonna see these overt decorations everywhere. Just not big, but I would like to put in something maybe a little bit different than what I typically read, and something that is, you know, kind of spooky Halloween adjacent. And I'm feeling like Frankenstein by Mary Shelley could be a good one to put into my TBR this month. You're gonna realize very quickly that my mood for October is everything. I really want to have a variety of genres and books in my TBR, and so we're gonna have probably a little bit of romance, literary fiction, a little bit of classics, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of sci-fi, un poquito de todo, así nos gusta, un poquito de todo. I'm very excited about this. I have been meaning to read Frankenstein for such a long time. This specific copy of it, I can't remember how long I've had it for. It definitely has been more than a year though, so I'd consider that a TBR veteran. I know I am in for a good masterpiece with Frankenstein. I know nothing of the specifics of the book beyond the basic premise. At this point, it's hard not to know it. We have got a doctor, Victor Frankenstein, who goes through graveyards looking for dead bodies to extract specific parts from them to create a new being of his own volition, except that when the being is made, it causes nothing but death and destruction, and the story obviously goes from there. I know truly nothing about Frankenstein beyond that. I don't know that I've seen like proper quotes even on this, so I am sure I am in for a treat. I am ready to be surprised. I am ready to be wooed and wowed and ready to be screeching and oohing and eyeing. So the second book going into my TBR is going to be Frankenstein, and I love this copy. It's just, it's stunning. I'm very excited. So far we're doing really good because that was another book that I was meaning to pick up this October. So let's see what our third prompt has in store for us. Want to go for this one, and this one says, ooh, a romantasy. Ooh, wait. Oh wait, that's perfect. I love this. I don't know what that was, but you know what? Let's just run with it. Okay, so we have got a romantasy. Now, there are several things I could do with this because there are, I think, 2 books that I want to be reading that kind of adhere to that, you know, to that genre. However, for that one, I do think I have to go for this one. So I don't think I'm gonna get many opportunities to put this into my TBR, especially because it's a newer book that is in my TBR shelf, and that is Gild by Raven Kennedy. It is a King Midas retelling, and beyond that, I really know nothing. I remember reading the start of this a while back, and it was wild. There was a cage involved, and there was an orgy involved. Listen, there was a lot happening at the start of this book, but outside of that, I know nothing. It says something about loving him forever, turning a girl to gold, a war coming to the kingdom, a deal being struck, everything starting to change. I really want to walk into this with zero knowledge, to be quite honest, because if I start building expectations in my head, I feel like I'm doomed from the start. And I also have the second book, so I really want to enjoy this so that I get to read the second one and potentially have a good time with it. This is one of those series where I've heard that it gets better as you go. It is very slow burn also, which I think is a little bit surprising, honestly. I feel like a book like this, just given the premise and given the start of the book too, I'd expect it to be very fast paced, but to my understanding, the romance doesn't actually kick up in this first book. I could be completely wrong. You guys can correct me in the comments, but I am quite looking forward to this. I think it's going to be an interesting time. Very much outside of my comfort zone and what I typically would read. I'm not a romantasy girly. Like, ideally I would be, but I find that the ones that I tend to read, or the ones that I've tried in the past, end up being really disappointing because it puts the romance above everything else, which is no fault of theirs and all fault of mine for wanting more world building, but I do find that sometimes a better balance can be struck. We'll see how this goes, because I've never read anything by this author, so let's hope it goes well. Honestly, doing far better than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't want to jinx it, but I was expecting to struggle a little bit more, specifically with those 2 books, because I feel like they're very, very hyper specific, and I needed to get like very specific prompts for them, but the universe worked in my favor, y'all. So for our 4th prompt, I love that I say our, it's our collective TBR jar. This one says a number in title. Are you kidding? Wait! The one time I almost knocked out the TBR card, the one time that I actually have a book with a number in the title, I actually get number in the title. You're joking. Oh my god, this is literally perfect. So we have got number in title. You guys, some of you, maybe, potentially many of you, I don't know. Some of you will be happy because, listen, I was requested to read this by somebody in the comment section, and I'm weak, so I said yes. And I have been told by my patrons that this is worth every single page, and I hope that it is, because it's fucking long. I don't know that it's actually that serious, but I've been assured assured that it actually is, and that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I ended up getting the UK edition because I also liked these covers better. The UK edition is over 700, no, it's 800 pages. Is it actually, or is this a preview? Stop. It's still 789 pages. It's long, and ask me what this is about, I still would not be able to tell you. I just know that we've got a main character named Johnny, and he is a rugby player, and that's like his first, last, only love, and then he meets Shannon, and I will assume Shannon upends his life and what he thought love was, and they'll fall in love, and apparently there's a lot of stuff in here that's beyond the romance. Like, people have assured me that this is not so much about the romance, but like, yes, that's fun. It's about everything else. It's about the dynamics, the friendship, the found family. Apparently there's like a lot of trauma in here. I don't know what I'm getting myself into, truly and thoroughly. Maybe I should at this point in time, but I also think if I know less about this book, it'll go better for me. Can you tell I'm scared about this? I'm scared. I'm scared, but we're committing, and I got it for my TBR, so there's literally no way that I can run away from Binding 13. So would you guys blame me if I did one more book? Because I just remembered that there are 2 books I still need to put in here, but then there's another one that I need to put in here for my own sake because I really want to read it. So maybe we'll end up choosing 7 books and we'll end up with a little bit of a heftier TBR, but hopefully we'll get some good reading done in October. So let us hope and pray for the best. This one right here is open, paperback read. Sure, I'll take it. I think I must have pulled this in a previous month, but it's the one my hand latched onto, so we'll go for paperback read because it works out perfectly. All 3 of my options are paperback reads. However, I'll go with this one. Caught up by Liz Tomforde. I'm very excited about this. Can you tell? I read The Right Move in August. I took a little bit of a break in September, and now we are back to the Windy City series because I deserve happiness, and I'm very excited about this. I cannot wait to read this. I think it's going to be such a fun time. It's a single parent trope. We have our main character Kai, who is a baseball player. He's got a little kid, and he keeps firing nannies left and right. Like, he just cannot seem to find the right one. However, his coach gives him a little option for a new nanny that will surely rein in the kid and who will surely not need to be fired, and that is Miller, a high-end pastry chef who will now take care of his kid, and the last person obviously that he needs to fall for, not only because of the professional arrangement but also because he is the coach's daughter. And I am very excited about this. I cannot wait. I am so excited about this. It better deliver. Liz Tomforde, you did it with The Right Move. I'm sure you can do it again with Caught Up. I am very extremely excited about this. So right into the TBR it goes. Still have 2 more things to put in here. I've got them pulled aside, and for the funsies of it, of course I want to put them in there thanks to the TBR jar, but they're in the TBR already, so whether or not I get something that makes them fit, they'll go in here. Let the TBR gods bless me. Okay, let's see if we can make it fit, y'all. Let's see. For prompt number 6, we have got, let's go for this one right here, and this one says internet favorite. Ooh, I feel like this is an internet favorite. I feel like I can make that fit in here. I feel like this book has got a right amount of following. Everybody loves this book. Like, I don't think I've ever heard a single person say something shitty about this. I think everybody has loved this, and in general the author has got a really good like cult following, I guess we could say. We have got Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I'm very excited about this. This is a little Rumpelstiltskin retelling. It's obviously very winter geared. I can't really cater my reads too much towards seasons because we only have rain and heat. So if I wanted to do like, oh my god, a little winter read, it's already winter for me, and my winter is tropical, so I just get hurricanes, thunderstorms, and freaking rain. That's just the way it goes, so I feel like this is as good a time as any to be reading Spinning Silver. With this book, I also know only the basics. We follow Miriam, our main character, whose father collects debts, except that recently he hasn't been doing so well at it, and so she decides to take over in order to provide for her family because they are on the edge of poverty. And that in itself grabs the attention of, I think, the king. Is it a king? I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, the king of Starik. And then she'll have to ally up with 2 other people to unveil secrets and go on her journey in order to save both the kingdom and the land of the king alike. And the story goes from there. Again, everybody loves this book. Everybody raves about this and Uprooted so much. So I'd say this is an internet fave. We'll make it fit. And let me tell you something. For this very last book, if I pull something that makes the book fit, great, we'll use it. If I don't, scratch the TBR jar. I'll just show you the book. We'll put it into the TBR. Sound like a plan? Shake on it. Sound like a plan. Okay, great. So for our last prompt, allegedly, maybe, if it doesn't fit, use it and see it. Okay, I don't know what to choose. Okay, let's go for this one. I don't even want to look at it. I seriously don't even want to look at it. You're gonna look at it first. What does that say? I don't even, what? Last seen on TikTok. Oh my god, guys. I literally saw this book on TikTok like 3 seconds ago. Oh my god, can you believe the chances of the universe? Oh my god, it was just the book I needed. I literally just went on TikTok and I saw this. Wow. Wow, the universe, wow. I'm so shocked. It's going into the TBR. We have got Kim Jiyoung, born 1982. This is a literary fiction, and we follow our main character, Kim Jiyoung, that is born at the end of the 20th century, as she has to deal with endemic misogyny and institutional oppression, and the story goes from there. I don't know the specifics of this either. Can you tell that there is a theme for October? The theme is surprise me. And so we'll see how this goes. I'm excited. It's a TBR veteran too, so oh, I should have put that as a TBR veteran. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna read this and hopefully it'll be a great time. And that is it for today, friends. That is my TBR jar chooses my October reads. Honestly, really successful until the end. We had to force it a little bit there. I totally lied. I didn't see that on TikTok, but it's fine. Literally semantics. It doesn't really matter. I am very excited about all of the books I have got in my October TBR, and I think that's what matters. I think it's a hefty one. There's a lot in there. There's a lot to pick and choose and read and not read, but we'll figure it out as the month wanes on, and you guys will see a lot of these in different vlogs, which is, I think, very exciting. I hope you guys are excited about that, because again, our do-over is going to be October, and October is going to be a great month because I refuse to have a terrible birthday month. So I hope that these books really do it for me, because September really took me out with my reads as well. So hopefully these will be amazing, and again, you will hear about them as I read them. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up down below, and also let a girl know what you are planning on reading this October. Are you following any of the prompts? Are you reading any of the same books I'm reading? Have you read any of the books I'm reading? Let a girl know all of that down in the comments. And if you reach the very end of the video, let us leave some bone emojis because of Frankenstein. I think it fits very well. So let's leave some bone emojis down in the comments if you reach the very end. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already for more content like this. And if you'd like to support the channel further, join us in our buddy reads and our activities, live streams, Discord servers, the book club, all of the fun. Patreon is always linked down below. It's a huge help to the channel to run things smoothly, get expensive equipment and gadgets that need to be acquired for this thing to happen as often as it does. So if you ever want to support the channel further, Patreon is always linked down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on my next one. Goodbye!